Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, Bo Vintage, and today's video is a product review. The product that I am choosing to review for you is the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Effect Makeup. This is liquid foundation. I purchased the color 11, which is called Cappuccino. And before I even get into it, I will tell you that it does have SPF 20, which means that if you take a picture with flash, it may reflect white on camera and you gonna look like a ghost, which you don't want. I haven't tested the theory yet, but I will, and I'll update you guys once I do a tutorial with the foundation. I want to touch on 5 main things. That would be color, consistency, coverage, application, and price. I need to write that down so I can just say it and let it flow, honey. So there are 5 main things that I want to go over with you about this product. And they are as follows: color, consistency, coverage, price, and application. I'm going to start with price. The price of the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Effect Foundation is around $20. I think that originally it was priced at $21.99 and I purchased it on sale for $17. I am not 100% sure, but I know I spent about $20 on the foundation. I do think that that is a little expensive for drugstore, but then again, it all boils down to where you purchase the product. So I'm sure if you go to Walmart, it'll be $3 cheaper than however much I paid for it at the actual drugstore. The other thing about the price is that for the quality, I think that the price is fair because it is a pretty good foundation for being a drugstore brand and not a high-end brand. But again, I think Revlon is kind of considered the high-end drugstore makeup brand. So the price isn't that bad if you compare it to something that you would get at Sephora, which would be Bobbi Brown or Makeup Forever or Chanel. Like, can you get Chanel? Yeah, you can get Chanel there. So in comparison to other brands, the price isn't that bad. I mean, you get what you pay for. So that is all I have to say about the price. The next thing I want to touch on is the color. A lot of times with drugstore foundations, it is hard for women of color to go in there and pick out a shade for them if they are past a certain deepness in skin tone. Luckily, we don't really run into this problem with this product because they do have quite a bit of range when it comes to color. I bought 11, which I think is the second darkest color that they have, but on a scale of Zoe Kravitz to Kelly Rowland, or maybe even Grace Jones, I think that is what they have for women of color. So it's a good selection for being a drugstore brand because half the time we can't even find our color. Like Maybelline is okay with the Fit, like Fit Me has quite a bit of colors, I will say that, and that's also that's half the price of this, but this product is actually better than Fit Me, and you guys know I love me some Fit Me. I'm hot as tits, honey. I'm sweating like a motherfucker. The color selection they have is pretty decent. I was actually thoroughly impressed. The first color that I swatched that I thought was going to match me, which means I thought it was dark enough for me, was a shade lighter than this, and then again, the lighting in the store was pretty dim. Maybe that's why I thought it was going to be my color. That's irrelevant though. The point is I thought it was going to be my color. So I would say that they have a pretty good selection in terms of color, and if you aren't darker than Grace Jones, then you can probably pick up this foundation and have it match exactly to you. This color, Cappuccino, matched me exactly. When I put it on, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how perfect the matching was, because when I purchased it, I figured that I would have to mix it with something else to get the color that I needed. Coverage. So coverage is definitely something important that we need to talk about right now. If you're looking for something that is lightweight, you don't want this foundation. If you are looking for something that is more medium to full coverage, but more on the full side, this is your gal right here. She's good to go. You don't need a lot of product, which is good. So I will definitely say that it is worth it for the coverage and the price together. It's bomb.com. So that's brilliant. It's brilliant. Coverage and application kind of go hand in hand, so I'll just jump into application right now. The first time I wore it, I applied it with my brush. I used a flat top kabuki brush to apply the foundation. That is the brush that I use with most of my makeup tutorials. I like how it applied with the brush. I didn't have any issues with it until today when I applied it with a wedge, and it just looks so much better. So a wedge sponge is just the little triangle sponges. These guys, I wet the sponge. I wet the sponge and then I squeezed the water out, and I applied my foundation from chin to forehead. So I started down here and then I worked my way up to the forehead, and anytime I felt like I needed a little bit more product, I would just pump out more, and that would be that. That's the other good thing about it too. It has a pump, so you can control the amount of product you're squeezing out, which leads to not wasting product, because a lot of the times with foundations that don't have the pumps on them, you tend to waste the product, and you don't need a lot of product. You don't need a lot of this product when using it. So that's the good thing. So along with coverage and application, those are two separate points, but one thing that really ties those 2 points together would be the finish of the product, which I forgot to touch on. So the finish of the product, I would say, is more of a velvet finish. When I was in the store, I asked the girl if it was a matte finish because I wanted a matte foundation, and she said it is matte, but it has like shimmer in it, a little tiny bit of shimmer in it. And I was just like, okay. So I just took it anyway because I just wanted to test the product out anyway. So in my personal opinion, I believe that this product has a velvet finish to it once you put it on, or an airbrush finish, which I think would be closer to velvet than it would be to a matte. It's not matte. This is not a matte foundation, but it's also not dewy, so we're gonna call it velvet. It is definitely a velvet finish, which I like. I don't mind a velvet foundation because it's in between the matte and the dew. Depending on what you apply it with too, the finish may turn out different for you, or just depending on your skin type. Lastly, I want to touch on the consistency of the product. Oh, did I already do that? I shot this video 100 times. I don't really know if I talked about the consistency or not. So the consistency of this product would be a good thickness. It's not too thick where it feels heavy on your skin. Matter of fact, it's very lightweight in that aspect, but it's not watery. Like MAC Face and Body is super duper watery. When you pour it on your hand, you can make a mess real quick. So I like the consistency of the Revlon foundation because when I pump it on the back of my hand, it doesn't go anywhere. If I move my hand around, it's just staying exactly where it needs to stay. And the foundation lasts. It lasts all day. It doesn't come off until you're ready to take it off, which is something that I definitely look for in a foundation. So that, I think, is all I can really review for you guys. If you have any questions about the foundation, I'll be glad to answer them. Just leave them in the comment box and I'll get to it when I get to it. So I love you all. Thank you for subscribing to me. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. And I think that's it. So I love you all, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.